Well, a war of words has erupted between the centre and the opposition after Arvind Kejriwal termed Law Minister Kiren Rijiju's letter to the CJI, or Chief Justice of India, as dangerous. And he also said that there should be no government interference in judicial appointments. The Union Law Minister hit back, asking Kejriwal to honour the court's direction, while also reminding him that the letter was a mere follow-up action of the direction of the Supreme Court Constitution Bench when it struck down the National Judicial Appointment Commission Act, or the NJAC Act. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Congress party demanded an all-party meeting to decide the mechanism of selecting judges for the top court. Now remember, Centre wrote to CJI DY Chandrachud, and as per sources, the letter reportedly mentioned that the government wants its representatives on the Supreme Court Collegium. What we do know is that after Arvind Kejriwal termed Law Minister Kiren Rijiju's letter to the CJI as dangerous and said that there should be no government interference in judicial appointments, there's a war of words that has erupted between the centre as well as opposition when the Union Law Minister hit back, asking Kejriwal to honour the court's direction, while also reminding him that the letter was a mere follow-up action of the direction of Supreme Court's Constitution Bench when it struck down the NJAC Act. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Congress party has demanded an all-party meeting to decide the mechanism of selecting judges for the top court. And even the centre has written to CJI DY Chandrachud. As per our sources, what we know is that the letter reportedly mentioned that the government wants its representatives on the Supreme Court Collegium. To share more details on this, I'm joined by my colleague Harish on the phone line live on this broadcast. Harish, appreciate you joining us on Mirror Live. Well, the opposition has also now waded into the the executive versus judiciary row. And what do we know as per our sources about the letter from centre to CJI, as well as the war of words that has erupted between centre and opposition, as well as we're, of course, expecting an all-party meeting that Congress is holding to understand how they can probably appoint judges to the bench?
Yes, in fact, big developments after the Law Minister Kiren Rijiju wrote to the Chief Justice saying, seeking inclusion of 2 representatives of the government in the collegium. And after Kejriwal tweeted that this is very dangerous and the interference of the government in appointment of judges cannot be tolerated. In fact, Kiren Rijiju tagged that tweet and responded for the first time, and he said that his letter is in conformity with the direction to the from the Supreme Court to the centre to draft the memorandum of procedure for appointment of judges, and his suggestion, his view is as it should be taken as a suggestion as to how there can be more consultative process in appointment of judges to the higher judiciary, that is the High Courts and Supreme Court, and there is no politics involved in it. Supreme Court is supreme, and there is nothing about the Supreme Court. This is what Kiren Rijiju said, and in fact, the letter had created a stir, as in fact, it comes on the backdrop of several top constitutional authorities like the Vice President, the Lok Sabha Speaker, and Kiren Rijiju himself attacking the collegium, calling it opaque, non-transparent, and a system where judges appoint those who know, and as a result, several non-performing, inefficient, and corrupt people were making their way to the top Supreme Court bench. I remember the Supreme Court Collegium has, according to my sources, rejected the government's proposal to include two representatives from the government, calling it an attempt to bring the National Judicial Appointments Commission through the back door. Remember, what was the National Judicial Appointments Commission, which was quashed by the Supreme Court? It had envisaged a collegium where the Chief Justice is the head and 2 senior, and it will also comprise two senior judges of the Supreme Court, the law minister, and two eminent persons of the country appointed by a panel of Chief Justice, Law Minister, and Leader of Opposition, and the Prime Minister. So, Supreme Court Collegium is of the view that since NJSC has been quashed, now the government is trying to get into the Collegium through an indirect manner. So, as of now, the letter has created a lot of controversy, with opposition calling it an attempt to stifle the independence of the judiciary and even control the judiciary as far as appointment of judges is concerned. And also, the government has been accused of trying to get their people inside the Supreme Court and in the High Court benches. Back to you.
Harish, thank you so much for joining us live on this broadcast with all those details. Well, moving to another big story.